possibility that maybe these Artilects in an advanced form may decide to white out humanity or just wipe us out as some side effect. As against the Terran approach, it says, oh, no, we can't, it's too risky. Never take the risk, so don't build them.
So if we would give up on, say, we take the Terran route and we give up on artificial intelligence research, then it's probably likely it's going to take a much longer time to achieve immortality or functional immortality or end aging, is what you would say.
Maybe, but maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll
find some genetic switch. Or something.
Conventional Roger hit on something that we hadn't thought of before. That's the breakthrough. I mean, that's the nature of research. You never know. There are lucky discoveries.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, I think that covers most of the questions that we had for tonight. Is there anything else this evening that I guess it's morning for you over there in China? Sorry about that.
Okay, I'm waking up now.
I just want to ask if you had anything that you'd like to promote coming up as far as any new papers, books, conferences that you'll be at that perhaps people could see you speak.
Well, given my age, and since I'm, in a sense, building China's first artificial brain, doors open to me increasingly, which is nice. So what I'm trying to do now is to persuade the Chinese government. So I'm trying to set up a meeting with Minister of Education and Minister of Science and Technology with some of the top Chinese AI guys, like the president and vice president of the, you've probably heard of the triple AI in America, the American Association of Artificial Intelligence. Well, there's something equivalent in China. It's called the CAAI, so the Chinese Association of Artificial Intelligence. So the president and vice president of that, the plan is, if we can pull it off, and it's not certain yet, but if we can, arrange a meeting with these two ministers and try to sell them the vision that the next big, at least in science, the next big thing for China, after the success of the Olympics, and China's now space power, and it recently built the world's tallest building, as far as I know, in Shanghai.
Yeah.
So all that's essentially just catch up. Basically a philosophy of catch up with the West. If China wants to be dominant power this century, then the first thing is to just catch up. But after that, what's next? So the vision I'm trying to sell them is, hey, why not plug for dominating the world's biggest industry in around 2030. So
the biggest future industry.
Yeah, the biggest future industry. Yeah, which I see being artificial brains. And why? Because they will control home robots that everyone will want to buy. Because if they are genuinely intelligent and very useful, then people will be prepared to pay big money.
Yeah, I'd want
to buy them.
If they can clean my house and cook the food,
sure.
I'd shell out a few $1,000, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it'd be a big ticket item, and everyone would buy one. So I see that becoming the world's biggest industry in about 20 years. So the suggestion to the government is, try to target this industry, dominate it, and it'll be a kind of like a test case. Is China capable of doing this? The country showed very clearly what it's capable of doing on the athletics front. Just dominate the Olympics. So when the country sets its mind to do something, then so far it's been pretty good.
Okay.
So what that means is that America and China will very probably now become rivals in the creation of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I see that becoming a major industry. Now, of course, robots per se are stupid. I mean, they're just bits of steel and plastic, right? It's not the robot that's interesting. It's the artificial brain that controls the robot. That's what's interesting. That's the challenge.
That is the challenge.
So I see artificial brains becoming the world's dominant industry in time.
Okay.
But we're virtually nowhere today.
You mentioned an International Artificial Intelligence Conference. When is that coming up in 2009? That you're submitting?
March. I mean, this is
March.
Ben Goertzel behind it. He's he's the father. He's the father of AGI. It's his
Sure.
turn. So,
that's going to be in the U.S.?
And it'll be in D.C.
D.C.
Yeah, it'll be in the U.S. and it'll be in D.C. And the reason for that is funding.
Yeah.
So, I will go there and I will play the China card, and I'll try to help Ben by saying to the American funders who hopefully will be present at that conference, saying, hey, you guys are going to really shift your ass, otherwise the Chinese are going to beat you. And then after the conference, I'll come back and go to Beijing and say, hey, look, this is what the Americans decided. You guys are going to shift your ass because the Americans are beating you,
Maybe you can encourage cooperation and peaceful cooperation, maybe.
Well, actually, I try. Now, because it's DARPA, I actually contacted the guy, emailed the guy responsible for this BAA, Broad Area Announcement, at DARPA. Got the guy, Googled his name and found out, and emailed him, got a few replies, and I suggested that very thing.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't buy it. If you're inside DARPA, who's the future rival, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Russia's got it.
I think that's a generational thing, though. I think some of these old military guys just it's a generational thing. I think younger generations don't feel that that's such a severe divide and such a severe competition. It's just my feeling, I think.
I hope you're right.
Well, I hope I'm right as well. One
other thing, you asked me other things to mention. The fact that there's no competition, so the Terrans will argue they cannot sit around twiddling their thumbs. If they're going to ensure that these artifacts never get built and hence go to war
they're going to have to
over this issue, they're going to have to first strike. They have a time window. There's a window of opportunity. If they do nothing, that window will close. The Artilects and the cyborgs will exist. They'll be too smart for human beings. There will be no contest. So if they're going to strike, they'll have to do it before it's too late for them, before they become relatively too stupid.
Sure.
But the Cosmists, they're no fools. They will be listening to what the Terrans are saying. And so if the Terrans are preparing for war, well, so can the Cosmists. If the Terrans do a first strike, well, the Cosmists can strike back. And they both have equal access to the latest, nanotech type weapons in the second half of this century. Okay. So I'm very gloomy. I think the most realistic scenario is the most
the riskiest.
Most depressing.
Most risky.
I am not optimistic for the future because of all these reasons.
Well, hopefully in the next couple of years, maybe we will become more optimistic if we see more cooperation. One last question here as well. Just one question from the audience about designing computers. Why would we design them so that they would be so smart or outsmart us when we could just build them smart enough to do labor like home robots and to help us along and to help cure aging and things like that and not go any farther? Is it just a point where someone's going to do it? Once we get to that level, they're just going to take it to the next level? It's inevitable? Or would we be able to stop at a certain point and say, okay, we've got artificial intelligence, we've got robots, everything's sweet, we've cured aging, now let's stop?
Well, I see the Terrans arguing that. I mean, even the Terrans will want limited artificial intelligence, right?
Okay.
Because machines will do all the so-called 3Ds, the dirty, dull, dangerous jobs.
Sure.
And liberate. So when the machines are smart enough to be useful, but not so smart that they're threatening, that'll be great for humanity. So Terrans and Cosmists will be in agreement.
Sure.
Let's build them. So I can imagine that the Terrans, after a while, especially as millions of people, billions even, when they see that IQ gap between human level intelligence and machine level intelligence, as they see year by year, as that gap closes, as their home robots, for example, get more and more intelligent, that's when the debate will really heat up, and people will see clearly the trend and start raising all these questions of whether we should build them or not. So I can imagine that there'll be a global effort to